right, students, here we are on part 3 of this screencast. I warned you up front it was going to be a long one. So this next page is us writing numbers in different bases, but without actually making a physical representation of the base. So we are going to work with base 6. We are going to have 245 objects. So when I begin, the first thing that I'm going to do is make my place values. And I'm in base 6, so I'm going to have 1s. I'm going to have 6s. I'm going to have 36s. I'm going to have 2 16s. I could make another place value, but I know that 216 times 6 is way more than 245. So therefore I don't need to worry about going any further. So now I take a look at this 245 and I say, can I make some 216s? And yes, I can. I can make 1. So I want to think of, I had a whole bunch of babies there, and I lassoed up 216 of them. And now I just need to know how many do I have left. So I subtract off 245 minus 216. And that's going to leave me with 29 that I still need to work with. All right, can I get any 36s? No, I've only got 29, so I can't make any 36s. Can I make 6s? And yeah, I can. I need to figure out how many. Well, if I made 4 of them, 4 6s would be 24. 5 6s would be 30. So 4 is the biggest I'm going to be able to go. So 4 6s is 24. I'll record here, but that was 4 times 6. I subtract, I've got 5 left, and those are going to be recorded in my ones column. So my answer is 1045, and that is base 6. So I encourage you to pause, try the next one, try the whole sheet, but see if you can get going on these on your own. All right, I'm going to start base 12 now, so you can hopefully be checking your work on this one. So I am going to start it the same way. I'm going to identify my place values. I'm in base 12, so I have 1s, 12s, 144s, 1,728s. Right, now I think of a big pile of babies here, and we always get a laugh in class when I say things like that. And I want to start forming base pieces. So I want to know how many 1,728s can I make. Well, double that would be over 3,000, so one of them is going to be it. I record the 1. I'm going to subtract 1,728. And what I will have left is 596. Right? So next I say, all right, I've got 596 babies, and I'm going to form 144. So how many can I get out of that? So sometimes people like to use their calculators and do division. So you could take 596, divide that by 144, and I get 4.13. So I can get 4 wholes, and then I'm going to have leftovers, is what that decimal tells me. So I'm going to get 4 groups of 144, and I'm going to subtract those off. So 144 times 4 is 576. So this right here is 4 times 144. So 596 minus 576 is 20. Alright, so when I subtract off my 4 144s, I end up with 20 left. So my next step is how many 12s I can make. And 2 12s would be 24, so that's telling me I can just make one. I subtract off my 12 from 20. It's going to leave me with 8 ones. So 1 4 1 8 in base 12 is equivalent to 2,324 in base 10. Alright, next up is base 4. So again, I will start it the same way with my place values. I've got 1s, 4s, 4 4s is 16, 4 16 is 64, 4 64s is 256, and 256 times 4 is going to be over 1,000, so that's going to be more than I need to make, so I don't need the next place value. So I start with my 725 pile of babies, and I find out how many 256 groupings I can make. So again, you can turn to your calculator and take 725, divide by 256, and it tells me that I can get 2 whole groups out of 725. So I'm going to subtract off 512, which is 2 groups of 256. And that will leave me with 213. So now I drop down to 64s. So I want to know how many 64s I can get out of 213. So again, you can turn to your calculator, divide by 64, and that tells me I can get 3 whole groups of 64. So I now need to find out how many do I still have left to work with. 3 times 64 is 192. And 213 minus 192 is 21. I've dropped down to 16s, and I can see pretty easily, without doing any work, I'm going to be able to get one group of 16. That will leave me with 5. I can make one group of 4. And that will leave me with 1. So my number is 2, 3, 1, 1, 1, and that is in base 4. Alright, next up, my base 3. Again, hopefully you are pausing and making sure you're able to do this on your own. So I've got 1s, 3s, 9s, 27s. 27 times 3 is 81, so that is too big. So that also tells me that 3 27s is going to be overboard for 78. So it gives me the clue that when I start taking these babies and forming them into the base pieces, I need 2 groups of 27. 2 groups of 27 is 54. That leaves me with 24 left. Now I'm going to make groups of 9. So 2 9s is 18, 3 is 27, that's too many. So I know I need 2. So 2 9s is 18, I subtract. That leaves me with exactly 6. So 2 3s will be exactly 6. And I have used up everything, and I have no 1s to put in my 1s, which is fine. But I need to make sure I put a 0 there to keep the place value. So my answer is 2, 2, 2, 0. base 3. Alright, so moving on to the next page, we are going to be working in the other direction. And I know you can barely read this, but this is 325 and this is in base 6. So we want to change it and find out, hey, if we took this and turned it into a big pile of babies, how many babies would be there? So we're turning it into base 10. So the way I can look at this, I'm going to kind of spread out my digits a little bit more. All right, and keep track of my place values. These are my 1s. I'm in base 6 here. These are my 6s. These are my 36s. So what I'm going to be doing is saying, hey, I've got 3 36s. So 3 times 36 is going to give me a number here. I've got 2 6s, and I've got 5 1s. So 5 1s is a total of 5. 2 6s is a total of 12. And 3 36s is 108. So now when I total these up, I get 125. Now, of course, I could check my work here by just going the other direction. Essentially just saying, hey, if I take 125 in base 10 and switch it to base 6, what do I get? And you should get 325. Alright, so pause, try the next one on your own, then come back and check your work. I'm going to keep going here. I'm going to spread out my numbers. I'm going to list my place values. I'm not going to put the lines here this time. I'm just going to say, hey, that's 6 times 1. This is going to be 8 times 9. This is going to be 7 times 9 nines is 81. And this is going to be 1 times 9 81s is 729. So 1 times 729 is 729. 7 times 81 is 567. 8 times 9 is 72. And 6 times 1 is 6. Try one more time. All right. So I totaled these up. So 729 plus 567 plus 72 plus 6 is 1374. All right, let's see if I can squeeze one more in here. So I've got quite a long number here. I'm going to spread it out. All right, I think I've got it. So I'm going to come back here and I'm going to say, hey, these are the 1s. These are the 2s. These are the 4s. 8s. 16. 32. 64. So now I'm going to total these up. So 164 is worth 64. I have 0 32s, so that's nothing. 0 16s is nothing. 1 8 is 8. 1 4 obviously is 4. 1 2 is 2. So my grand total here looks like 64 plus the rest of that is 78.